Going on, y'all? I'm back in the shop tonight. I had a friend contact me and wanted me to help him around the shop a little bit. He owns Air Fuel Spark. He restores 1960s Holly Carbs for a bunch of older Fords and stuff like that. And he does phenomenal work. And he had a couple brackets that uh, he wanted to get notched out, and it has to clear, I guess, the early model um, carburetor bases, and so that's what I've been uh, doing here. Try to get this knocked out, help him out, and I learn a little bit also. So it he's uh he's the guy that built the carburetor for my LS wagon, and I've been running that carburetor for a long time now, without any issues. He is the go-to on the Holly carbs. He does really phenomenal work, and so this is basically what I set up to help me a little bit faster to, I guess, do what I need to get done. This is how it is, and this is what it comes out to be. So you have to notch that so the actual, see how it won't fit, right there like that, and these pieces get plated, and I notch these pieces out so they'll bolt in, because this leg right here is a lot wider than the other legs. I got a good bit of a tub and a box. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'll get y'all set up and kind of do a little skit, run through and do a few of them so y'all can see. It's not too hard, but it is. Uh, it's a little extra. But we're gonna try to go ahead and get this thing knocked out, and so let's see what we can do here. All right. Always gotta have your safety gear on. Don't ever not use safety gear. Safety is number one priority. Move it out, get it trimmed up. Then trim it, basically trim the piece. So get around the leg. You can do it one. Trim, test it, test it. That's how it goes. You can do it one. That's my very last use. A few more, which I'm probably, like, pretty deep on here. And y'all go ahead and speed through a lot of stuff or put it out. old and fat. Alrighty, we got this whole tub about squared away. We gonna finish up, and y'all stick with me. I'll probably try to do a little bit more filming. Maybe try to get some of the see if I can get some content on him actually doing the coating and everything on it. The plating, not really the coating. And we'll go from there. All right, guys, appreciate it. This right here, I got to his shop the next morning, and he wanted to go ahead and blast his parts, so I went ahead and blasted these parts for him. And man, they turned out really, really good. Y'all check out the ending process of this stuff. It's going to be amazing. Hey guys, we're back here again. We're at my buddy Drew's shop. where he restores 1960s Ford carburetors, and I'm gonna let him kind of speak on a little bit of things that we're doing here.
Well, Bubby wanted to hear about plating. So basically, these are old 1963, throttle shafts and the like, and we're just gonna soak these in like a mild acid, kind of like as a pickle, and then we're gonna put it in a plating tank. And the plating tank is mostly just salts so that it's conductive. This is acid zinc, so you have like zinc anodes here, and I'll explain it once I get going, because we'll have plenty of time. But like I said, this here is just a pickle. Some people will use, muriatic acid, hydrochloric, but this is just a commercially available pickle. All it does is kind of season the metal a little bit. This is where you can really see it too, is because this one here, it's got a brass shaft and then a steel lever. So we'll toss it in, crank up some amperage here, and we'll see what we end up. Yeah, you can see if you zoom in here, that brass you can't even really see anymore. See, it's already covered with zinc. That didn't take but a couple seconds there, because it started like this. So basically what's happening is, make sure I'm balanced right here, go about 8 amps. So I'm pumping 8 amps from the positive to the negative. This is the anode and the cathode. The anode is literally, as you see, just zinc balls. It's commercially pure 99.9% zinc, and you've got a positive current passing through the liquid to the negative, which is this side. And so what's happening is the zinc is dissolving into the salt solution, and it follows the electricity, because direct current's going to run in a circle, in a path. And so it's just running from these anode baskets, from the zinc to the metal. And zinc functions kind of like a sacrificial coating, and so on steel. And so on steel, it's kind of cool because the zinc itself will actually dissolve to protect the steel from rusting. And once you, the bad part is zinc is great at sacrificing itself and protecting steel, but it's not really great at, it's not very durable on its own, simply because it does weather, it oxidizes, oils, things like that can screw it up. So what you do is you have these, which are chromates that go over it. That's where you get your yellow bolts, your black bolts, your silver bolts. These are basically passivates. These kind of chromates, what they do is they actually protect the zinc, which protects the steel. And these are all rated in a salt spray chamber by how many hours it takes before they start to break down. So like this yellow here may have 200 hours before it starts to break down. And then the zinc itself, because you have the rating to white rust, which is where the zinc starts to like oxidize and become white. And then you have red rust, which is the actual steel, doing its thing. I don't know if you feel like, normally a batch like this I run for about 15 minutes. We're at 2 minutes now. Like I said, the brass shafts here, you can already tell, are completely coated. Now, the other thing about this, it's not just salt. This is a chloride bath, which, is a form of salt. So you have ammonia, potassium, zinc chloride in the solution. It's actually like probably about 50 pounds of salt in this 16-gallon tank. But you also have maintenance and makeup carrier brighteners. And what they do is they kind of refine the zinc. Because if you ever seen zinc, it's kind of a nasty gray metal. It's not a really pretty metal. So being able to get, these shiny and where it's not, funky looking, it's nice to have these brighteners. They really help quite a bit as far as how the coating goes and how complete it is also. Because one of the drawbacks is like if you were to try to plate a tube, you'll only plate, the first maybe quarter inch or something, and then it'll start to fade. And so these brighteners help a good bit on that too. Questions?
So what's the earliest model Ford carb you've ever done?
Oh, well, I only work on 1960 stuff, so 1960 stuff.
Okay. All right. So what's the latest?
Oh, well, whatever probably the 1970 stuff. Well, I have an 86 one over there, one for those 302 Mustangs.
Yeah.
Those are called 4180s. They're kind of funky. I kind of sort of just did it like as a favor for a guy, but I wouldn't make a habit of working on them.
What about a Quadrajet?
No, I wouldn't. I've only built one. And it's for you. Now, the problem is, like, you look around here, I've got 300-400 carbs, but all I have is Hollies. And so one of the reasons I don't want to work on auto lights or Quadrajets or any of this other stuff is just because I have nothing to pull off of. Like, if I'm messing with one of these and I break this throttle shaft, it's not a big deal. I've got 400 of them laying around. I've got brand new ones that I manufacture. So, every poor dude who owned a Ford has an auto light carb, or has, because that's what we worked with. The little 2-barrel, 4-barrel auto light, 21, 4100s, and those were pretty much what we all built first time around, just because they were cheap and easy, and not much to them.
What made you want to get into building these carbs?
Well, remember when I started working equal time in like 2013, where I was home half the year, and so I worked on my car, I worked on my truck, I kind of finished what I wanted to do with those, and I started being like, well, gee, it'd be cool if I had a way to make some hobby money, because cars are expensive,
Yes.
And, you know how that goes.
I definitely.
And I mean, I don't want to have to justify to my wife or budget for a $3,000 set of cylinder heads. I just want to buy them if I want them. So I wanted my own source of income on my time off. And you remember, I was working on rear ends, transmissions, whatever people brought me. And a lot of people brought me carburetors. And it didn't take long before people were like, wow, these run really well. And I'm like, I know how to work on cars. And I mean, they're 12 pounds each. It's not like a friggin' transmission or a rear end, which frankly is a pain in the ass to work on. So, I just started working on what I liked, which was old Ford carbs, and it didn't take long before everyone and their brother wanted me to work on their stuff. And I don't know. I made the Facebook page.
What was the turning point in actually wanting to start the business to where you can turning a hobby into a business?
Okay, so when you start doing plating and restoration stuff, it gets really expensive. I mean, this doesn't look like much, but between the experience of trying out different products, getting to the point to where I can easily do this stuff, cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over the course of several years, and the only way to get good at it was to do a lot of it. I've probably done 2,000 or 2,500 of these Ford factory carbs, restored them like this, I mean, these all showed up looking like junk. And I mean, this is a 1963. This is from January, 4th week of January, 1963. I mean, it looks brand new, And these are all R-code Galaxy carbs. 2 of them came on 427s. And in order to get good, you had to make some money. And so that's what it was. I was just, working on other people's stuff, making profit. And since I didn't really need it because I had a job, I could always just any profit I made in the business got flipped back into getting better at building the stuff. And
then do you want to tell them what your job is when you're away from the shop?
Oh, sure. I mean, I work on boats as an engineer. I fix boats. But more like, ocean towing tugboats, live aboard,
Yeah.
So, you're a required mechanic. And not just mechanic, but also, I'm always moving fuel and oil and all sorts of junk. I mean, they're 10,000 cubic inch engines. They require a little bit of hand holding. So,
Yeah.
where are we at here? 7 minutes? Well, shoot. And you can even see, even with the brighteners, it's still pretty gray. You know what I mean? You can see some of it's looking okay, but it's not great. So after we do this, there's another way to clear it up a little bit, and that's just dipping in a dilute nitric acid, which I've got over there. And when I say dilute, I mean like 0.5%. So you're talking like a couple milliliters per gallon. It's not very much at all, but brightens it up. 8 minutes. And the hardest one to do is this black, which is kind of a pain in the butt to get a good coating on it. It's more fragile. But you know, these original parts here were originally done like a phosphate coating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and phosphates are cool, but there's a reason why all that stuff was rusted.
Yeah.
You know, it's because once that phosphate dries the oil out of it, it's not very good at
It becomes more dry, and it don't have nothing there to actually soak up.
You know, Ford originally, all of their, these are painted, but all their original, you know, hood hinges and bolts and stuff like that were all phosphate coated, and you've probably never seen them black. They're almost always rusty, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's my 447, which yeah, that's what I test most everything out on. This used to be something where I actually like had a car to drive, and now it became a test bed. No, I know, I get that every time. But yeah, it's pretty much just been a test bed for different carb testing and running them and blah blah blah.
And you have
Like 600,000 other carbs. You know, generic stuff, which is why it's piled on, and
just a few.
a lot of factory stuff, Cobra Jet stuff, small block, a lot of old school.
And you also
1960s race gear.
And you also do intakes too, right? You do
I
your
try
stored.
not to. You know, well, I mean, obviously behind you, these are all 1963 intakes right here, factory 2.4 stuff. Well, it kind of just became a thing where, you know, I was restoring the carbs, and a lot of people wanted the whole package, and I do have linkage and fuel log, you know, manufactured. I don't know, I probably made 300 or 400 sets of all that stuff, and you know, maybe it'd be a little easier for customers selling like a bolt-on unit, but unfortunately I don't get to a lot of that because like this is all customer mail-ins where they mailed me the stuff, and you know, I've stripped all the coatings on these castings, but all the hardware's been zinc plated. And again, it's all 1963, 64 stuff, so it's, even though it may look new, it's not. Just took a bit of work to get it all cleaned up.
And a lot of sandblasting.
Yeah,
many hours of sandblasting on all the hardware.
On the hardware, yeah, acids and well, you know, the acids are good to strip it. The ultrasonic cleaners are pretty good for cleaning it, but the media blasting is super nice on the steel, just to like redo the finish or the texture, especially when stuff's rusted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the surface rust, it's hard to get it off and make it look even halfway decent. But yeah.
But that comes along with a lot of testing, learning what works and what don't work.
Yeah, it's only 11 minutes, but we can do one of these.
You sure?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen? Anyway, you can see, like I was saying, how there's some cloudiness and like grayness to it. But I mean, the anodes are gray. So this is just that weak nitric I was telling you about, and we just can swirl it around here 10 or 11 seconds. And as a nice side benefit too, and you see how much whiter it came, you know?
Oh yeah.
How much more clear.
Instantly come clear.
Yeah. And the other benefit is, since you have all the salts in there, it's called drag in, where you're dragging in, you know, your plating solution into something else. And so these are all just water. I'm just trying
And
to
you
keep
do
it
that,
from,
the actual...
so I don't contaminate my chromate. You know, this stuff here is not easy to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had this one since 2016, you know.
And it's still doing the job. How long does it normally take for the acids and stuff to break down over a period of time of using it?
Well,
what's the average that you have to add to these?
So here's the thing: you can either add your original concentrate, or you know, some sulfuric acid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say add some, I'm talking about like 2 or 3 milliliters. So a
Couple
really
drops.
small, yeah, a really small amount. It doesn't require much. And really, you know, most of these are industrial chemicals, and you know what I'm using is next to nothing. Let's try this, and you can really see, you know, the colors come out of it. And you know, this chromate kind of breaks down at 150, so we're not really trying to dry it too hot. But I find, you know, streaks of water and stuff will impact how it looks. But you can see how the color's coming out of it as it's drying, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what you see on like that new grade 8 bolt or on this piece here of the different colors is actually just the film coating. Since it's water-based, the iridescence is actually just the thickness of the coating and how the light travels through it. So it's not even real, man. It's just how your eye perceives it, you know. So that's why it's green and red, and if it's thin, sometimes you'll get like blue. Yeah, there you go. And I mean, there's your this is a 1965 throttle shaft off a 427 single overhead cam, one of 2 carbs. This is, you know, ready to go. And then I just hang it up, and I leave most of these hanging for a day or 2 so that they can, you know, fully cure. That's pretty much it, man. That's how you do it.
Well,
I know it sounds really like simple, but it's complicated, but it's really not. It's just once you get it figured out, it's not so bad.
Well, I really appreciate it, man. I actually learned a good bit over being here. How many years now?
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Science, technology.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been coming over here. I learn pretty much something every day. Don't matter when it is. Either 5 o'clock beer drinking time or
It's not 5 o'clock.
not yet.
It's 3:20. That's like,
It's close enough.
whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
that's close enough. And this is, as you can see, we have a Drew's Brew.
Yeah, it's looking kind of.
It's looking slim.
Empty nowadays. I need to do a run.
Well, guys,
At least now I have a legal truck.
well, guys, I appreciate y'all sticking with us and kind of learning some stuff. We'll just kind of keep on going, man. I appreciate y'all. Come back and subscribe. Thank you.